Patrick Chung is back to receive for New England as Cincinnati won the toss. The Bengals have elected to defer. The fireworks in the color of pink tonight, shooting high above Gillette Stadium here in Foxborough, where the Patriots very rarely lose. Tom Brady limbering up, and away we go with Mike Nugent sending the ball into the end zone for a touchback. And let's take a look at the New England starters.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
Stephen Ridley, Louisiana State University.
Julian Edelman, Kent State.
Danny Amendola, Texas Tech.
JoJo LaFell, LSU.
Rob Gronkowski, Arizona.
Nate Solder, Colorado. Dan Conley, Southeast Missouri.
Brian Stork, Florida State.
Ryan Wendell, Fresno State.
Sebastian Vollmer, University of Houston.
Keep an eye on that offensive line and the mixing and matching they might be doing tonight, and the rotation of receivers. And they start with Edelman in motion, setting up on a wing to the right. Brady on play action, good protection over the middle, and it's Brandon LaFell at the 40-yard line. So exactly the start New England was hoping for. Big play on the first play, a 20-yard gain.
Come in with a power set here, go hard play action, and able to get it to LaFell down the field. You can see when the linebackers react up, there's opportunities in behind, and right away Brady goes to the line of scrimmage. Hurry up time.
And they put a fullback Devlin in it, and then they give the ball to Stephen Ridley, who takes it out to midfield. Close to a first down as he gets it to the 50-yard line. For Tom Brady, 37 straight starts against AFC opponents at home that he has won. Make it 39 straight starts, longest since 1970 at any position. And right now he hands the ball off to Stephen Ridley, and Ridley takes it through the middle again to pick up the first down. It was second and short. Ridley's a guy, a lot of people thinking that maybe they should give him the ball more, Chris.
He's a talented guy, there's no question about it. His flaw, I guess, we've seen on Sunday night before. He's put a few on the ground, but he is a guy, what did he get, just 5 carries last week, and I think that's part of the reason that issue keeps coming up.
At the 44, Brady over the middle, wide open, making the catch, and then falling down inside the 20-yard line is Tim Wright. Tim Wright, second-year wideout out of Rutgers, plays a tight end spot there. He's behind Gronkowski at that position, and a good start here, a 30-yard gain.
Well, Tim Wright is the guy that was part of that Logan Mankins trade, and of course they've been trying to find somebody to fill that other tight end position for a while. Geno Atkins with some pressure, working off another new guard, Ryan Wendell, this week.
At the 14-yard line, Brady this time out of the shotgun. Stepping up, taking off, and Brady will slide to a stop at the 8-yard line. They are fired up. Emmanuel Lamore, the linebacker, makes the tackle. 72 yards in the first 5 plays for New England.
I think Tom Brady's sick and tired of hearing about how sick and tired he is. When Tom Brady comes out and starts taking charge the way that he is here tonight, this looks like a playoff game, and so far the Bengals have not answered the bell.
Gain of 6, second and 4. Brady hands the ball, going straight up the middle this time as Ridley, and that'll set up a third down, 3rd and 1.
And we've talked a little bit about this offensive line, but it is almost impossible to tell you all the different combinations we've seen up front. Tonight it's Brian Stork, a rookie in there, Ryan Wendell, and Dan Connolly, 2 guys that have played in the past, and Vontaze Burfict on the sideline for the Bengals, and the emotionless start for this one shows without Burfict.
Ridley with Devlin in the backfield, and they hand the ball to the fullback, and Devlin's going to pick up the first down. Taking it to the 3-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal on the game's opening drive.
Well, and what we're seeing is the Patriots coming out and going back to the way they were in that opening game against the Miami Dolphins. We're seeing 2 tight ends. We're seeing a fullback in the game. If you can't protect Tom Brady with just 5, then that's what you do. But it's 4th down now,
right? Take a look at this, yeah, because it looked as if Devlin had picked up the first down. His forward progress appeared to take him to the 4-yard line, but they spot the ball outside the 4, and the Patriots will go for it. And Brady will take it himself, and this time An official first down to the 2-yard line. Brady finding the crease over left guard.
Well, we've seen it so many times before, and this time Pecco tries to jump to his left, and Brady simply goes the other way. But Tom Brady, one of the more effective guys with the quarterback sneak, and a lot of times he does it with his brain. He can anticipate where that D-line's going, and the Bengals not ready.
And he takes it again. Brady trying to get to the goal line. Officials coming in, waiting for them to unpile. And Brady will come up a little bit short on the 9th play of this drive.
Well, I can tell you one thing. When you play against Tom Brady, you better be ready at the snap of the ball. And at least 2 or 3 times in this drive now, they've snapped the football, and the Bengals are still shuffling around. If they have a big play, they're going to be flying to the football and snapping the next one.
That was Vincent Ray, who's playing in place of Burfict, who was able to stop him. 2nd down and goal inside the 1. Ridley takes it in. And there are 68,000 major sighs of relief in the stadium right now.
James Devlin, the fullback, and the young rookie, Brian Stork, up there getting movement. And that was old school, old time Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. Let's line up with all our big guys and let's see if we can just smash it down their throat. Got him with some play action, but that was an angry football team that has been hearing it all week long and was sick of it.
Plenty of emotion, plenty of passion, and plenty of proficiency. 80 yards, 10 plays in a little under 5 minutes. And the New England Patriots take a 7-0 lead over the Bengals. Gostowski now to kick off. Brandon Tate back to receive for Cincinnati. And Tate will come out from 5 yards deep. Out he comes to the 25-yard line, and with 9:57 to go in the quarter, here comes Dalton and the Bengal offense. Andy Dalton out of TCU was a 2nd-round pick in 2011. When Carson Palmer decided he wasn't coming back to Cincinnati, Dalton got the start as a rookie on opening day, and this is his 52nd straight start, a record to start a career for a quarterback not drafted in the 1st round. Of course, you think about Andrew Luck, you think about Peyton Manning and all of the rest. This guy in the 2nd round gives it to Giovanni Bernard, who cannot get around the corner. Picks up 1. Let's take a look at the Bengals offense.
Andy Dalton, TCU.
Giovanni Bernard, North Carolina.
AJ Green, University of Georgia.
Mohamed Sanu, Rutgers.
Jermaine Gresham, the University of Oklahoma.
Brian Hewitt, Stanford.
Andrew Whitworth, LSU.
Clint Boland,
Georgia.
Russell Bodine, North Carolina.
Mike Pollock, Arizona State.
Andre Smith, Roll Tide.
And out of that crazy formation, Dalton goes to Mohamed Sanu, who picks up 8. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Well, Hugh Jackson has brought some different looks to the Cincinnati Bengals so far this year. And that was one of the more bizarre ones, but it worked. Now 3rd and 1.
From the 34-yard line. In their game against Tennessee, Sanu threw a touchdown pass to Dalton. Now you have a flag, our first of the night. Jerome Boger is tonight's referee.
12 men in the formation. Defense. 5-yard penalty resulting in a 1st down.
Well, that's a gift basket 1st down. Hugh Jackson a couple of years ago was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. He was the head coach the year that Al Davis died. Then they let him go at the end of that season. Comes to Cincinnati now as the offensive coordinator. Last year's offensive coordinator, Jay Gruden, of course, is now the head coach of the Washington Redskins. From the 39-yard line, Dalton throws, and that's caught by Sanu. An exciting player is Mohamed Sanu across the 50 to the 46, tackled by Kyle Arrington.
Oh, the Patriots that time going to try and bring a blitz here, and Andy Dalton just threw it right where the blitzer was, and then Sanu, who really has had a very good year this year, did the rest.
Now Dalton out of the gun. Positions Sanu to his left. And then you got Sanu flipping the ball back to Brandon Tate. Looking for room to the outside. A lot of razzle-dazzle, but a gain of only one. Let's take a look at the New England defense.
Rob Ninkovich, Purdue.
Vince Wilfork, Hurricanes.
Chris Jones, Bowling Green State.
Dominic Easley, Florida.
Xander Collins, Southern Miss.
Gerard Mayo, Tennessee.
Deontay Skinner, Mississippi State University.
Darrell Reeves, Pitt.
Patrick Chung, the Ducks.
Devin McCourty, Rutgers.
Fonzo Dunn, University of Nebraska.
And Cincy going no huddle here as Giovanni Bernard picks up the first down, taking it to the 35-yard line. So Cincinnati answering New England's very impressive opening drive with one of their own.
Bengals very impressive with their offensive line, and well, they've done a couple of trick plays already here today. The strength of this football team really in their tackles. Andrew Whitworth, number 77, Andre Smith, maybe the best right tackle in football.
And right in the middle, a rookie looking pretty good at center, Russell Bodine out of North Carolina. Off play action. Dalton going deep, and it is picked off at the 5-yard line. A flag is down. Darrell Reeves comes up with it, but a flag is down.
A lot of bumping between those two superstars. See which way it goes. A little hesitation and go move. I'm not so sure that Reeves won't get caught for the bump.
There are 2 fouls on the play, one against each team. Illegal use of hands, offense, number 65. Illegal contact, defense, number 24. These fouls all set. Replay, first down.
So that's Bowling, the left guard for Cincinnati, and Reeves, and back we come, and they'll do it again.
Just a little double move here, and as the second move was taking place, well, I tell you, that's a pretty tough call right there.
Yeah.
Pretty tough. That's Darrell Reeves at his best. That is going to be a matchup tonight that is going to be so much fun to watch. One of the best all time. Maybe some not quite happy with the fact that a lot of zone coverage for him. Not tonight. One-on-one against A.J. Green.
That is bold-faced A-list. Here is Jeremy Hill, who is sharing time with Bernard out of the backfield, and a little rugby scrum ensues there. Hill, a rookie out of LSU.
I would advise against that one. Pick somebody else.
Vince Wilfork right in the middle. Bill Belichick took over here in 2000. 15th year as the Patriots head coach. Longest tenure in the league with one team. Lewis would be second with one team, 12 in Cincinnati. And there is Marvin at the helm since the 03 campaign. 2nd and 5 now from the 29-yard line. Good protection. And that one is thrown out of bounds. Intended for A.J. Green. He's closest. Reeves covering. 3rd down and 5.
You know, one of the things that I always thought Darrell Reeves did a great job of is once you get the second move going, he runs to a spot and cuts you off. And now he's in better position than you are as the receiver. And Andy Dalton had no choice but to throw that one away.
Reeves became famous in New York with the Jets. Reeves Island, 6 years there, then to Tampa. And now in his first year in New England, they let Aqib Talib go. He went to Denver and brought Reeves in.
Got a matchup down here at the bottom, Al, with Jermaine Gresham.
And with the play clock running out, you've got a false start.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Andre Smith. Well, Hugh Jackson's giving him a lot of looks tonight.
They really are. And this one starting to feel like anything goes tonight, right? Hugh Jackson, the Cincinnati Bengals, they're sick of hearing how they can't win in primetime games. Changed their practice schedule up this week. Decided to go later in the day, 4 o'clock or so in the evening, just to try to get used to these nighttime, primetime games.
Both these seem sick of everything this week.
Yep.
3rd and 10. 6.5 left in the opening quarter. Dalton throws, catch is made, but spun down right away is A.J. Green. Dennard makes the stop. It'll be 4th and 10.
Interesting, because anytime you think you're getting all-man coverage, you go to these crossing routes, which is what Hugh Jackson did that time. Instead, Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator of the Patriots, changed up on him, went zone, and there was really nothing there.
Now Mike Nugent, who's been off and on thus far this season, kicked 5 in the first half of the opener at Baltimore. A little erratic since. This is a 52-yard attempt. Kevin Huber to hold it. And on this windless night, the kick is no good. So the Patriots take over with a 7-0 lead. Edelman makes the catch, and the field goal, it would have been good, but a little zephyr comes in from the north in Foxborough to knock it down. Second down and 6. Ridley to the outside, gets around the corner, first down. Tom Brady closing in on a major milestone. He's already thrown for 54 yards tonight, so there he is, 49,994. 6 more passing yards. I think he might get it. We'll take him to it. He's got a shot to 50,000.
Hey, swap it.
On the ground again, and this time Ridley runs smack into the linebacker in the middle right there. Ray Maualuga.
I don't think I've ever put on a tape of the Bengals where I haven't seen Ray Maualuga make one of these kind of hits. When he's in tight quarters and there's nowhere to go, Ray Maualuga is going to lay some lumber on people, and at the time it was Ridley who felt the full effect.
After a gain of 2, second down and 8 from the 44-yard line. And whistles before the snap.
Terrence Newman called timeout right before that snap.
Timeout.
Before the snap. Timeout.
Cincinnati.
They're first.
This Bengal defense has done very well against those quarterbacks thus far. Week 1, Joe Flacco, 71 rating. Matt Ryan of Atlanta then with a 48-6. Jake Locker of Tennessee. So they've allowed only 2 touchdowns. They have 6 interceptions, and the combined passer rating for the opposition is a paltry 56.9. And there's the rest of the NFL. Pretty good for that defense. Paul Gunther is the defensive coordinator. Took over when Mike Zimmer got the head coaching job at Minnesota. Now Brady throws, and he throws it behind Edelman. Is lucky it wasn't picked off. Manuel Moore, the linebacker, covering on the play. 3rd and 8.
That was a poor throw by Tom Brady on that one. Going to get the coverage right here on the out-breaking route, and this ball well behind Julian Edelman and should have been picked.
3rd down and 8 now. Shane Vereen is in the backfield with Brady.
The Bengals have been awesome in this situation this year.
4-man rush. Pass is caught. That's 50,000. Gronkowski for a first down to the 17-yard line. Tackled by Iloka, and the 2 of them still going at it.
This was a good throw for 50,000. You'll see Gronkowski on your left. And you were that time tried to stay with the big guy, and it seems almost fitting in many ways that would be the combination to put him over 50,000.
And they put it up on the board. He's got some great company. Favre and Peyton Manning, Marino and Breeze and Elway. Not bad company.
Did that sign say we still believe in Tom Brady? That's the kind of week it's been around here. It really has been. Here's a guy who throws for 50,000 yards. And I tell you, it has been a rough week here.
27-yard gain. The ball is at the 17-yard line.
Roger.
And Brady throws, and that's caught at the 1, and into the end zone goes Tim Wright for the touchdown.
Don't let Tom Brady have a second tight end that can play. Tim Wright had 50 catches for Tampa Bay last year. And everybody said, Tim who? When that trade was made and Logan Mankins was gone and the offensive line was falling apart, and you knew it was just a matter of time until you started seeing the impact the second receiving tight end would have, and we are finally seeing it here tonight.
Six plays, 58 yards. Bill has the hoodie on this chilly night. Brady, he is pumped up. 50,000 yards for him. Crowd chanting his name. A little different look on that Patriot bench than we saw 6 nights ago.
I mean, he has been barking the signals in the huddle. You can look in his eyes. It's all coming out after a frustrating week with the media.
Gostowski, the extra point, and at least for the moment, the sky is no longer falling in New England.
It is in Cincinnati.
14-0. So Tom Brady at 50,000. Dan Marino did it in his 193rd game. Took Elway 229 to get there. Favre 211. He's on top of that leaderboard. Manning, Breeze 183, and for Tom 198. Tom Brady, at least in the first quarter, playing the role of Mark Twain. Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Aaron Rodgers would be proud. Relax, everybody.
And Gostowski's kick fielded by Tate in the end zone. Cincinnati starts from the 20.
You know, it doesn't matter how old you are. The game of football, when you're going like this, is fun. Watch this. Here, Julian, you spike it. No, you spike it. No, you spike it. No, you don't. Here we go. All right, I'll spike this thing. All right, let's go. Now let's give everybody a hug. Here comes Josh McDaniels. Everybody gets a hug now. That's when football's fun.
You got the feeling with the Patriots, they couldn't wait for this game to start.
Oh, my goodness. If they had one more press conference, I think they were all going to just pack up and go home.
From the 20, Dalton starts with a toss to Giovanni Bernard. Since he had a pretty good first drive, but it ended with a field goal attempt that was short after a false start had moved them 5 yards back. Bernard has taken over as the top running back. Remember last year he came in as a rookie. They had the former Patriot, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, let Green Ellis go, and they drafted Hill. And Giovanni is the ace back now. And through the middle he goes for only a yard, setting up a 3rd down and 2. They drafted him in the 2nd round last year out of North Carolina.
Well, you're going to try and run in that territory. You got to deal with that big guy. Vince Wilfork taking on the double team, and that's going to open it up for Gerard Mayo to come slicing in there. And the Bengals need a 1st down here. They need to at least temporarily silence this crowd a bit.
Dalton with 5 receivers going out on a 3rd and 2, flips one too far, intended for Giovanni Bernard. So it is a quick 3 and out, and Brady's going to go back to work with a little less than 2 minutes left in the opening quarter.
They had it. This was a possible touchdown. Little out and up against the linebacker Jamie Collins. There's nobody back there, and they just missed the throw. That was a brilliant call. Everybody's thinking it's going to be a little 4 or 5 yard out to try and pick up the 1st down. Collins looks back for the ball. Should have been a touchdown.
Hubert to punt. Edelman is back. Sends it into the night sky to the 21-yard line. Edelman looking for some room. Doesn't find very much. It's a run back of 6 yards out to the 27 after a 51-yard punt. And let's take a look at the Cincinnati D.
Carlos Dunlap, University of Florida.
Domata Pecco, Michigan State. Gino Atkins, all about the G. Go Dogs.
Wallace Gilberry, Baldwin County High School.
Emmanuel Lamar, Kansas State.
Ray Maulunga, the University of Southern California.
Vincent Ray, Duke.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State University.
Georgia Loken, leave Boise State University.
Reggie Nelson, University of Florida.
Leon Hall, Michigan.
Two veteran corners, Newman 12th year, Hall in his 8th. And they start on the ground here with a pickup of 5 by Stephen Ridley. Working him a lot tonight. 7 carries already for 35 yards and a touchdown.
Well, we've got a few old heads in here on this offensive line now. You're going to see Ryan Wendell working on Devin Still as they snap it quickly.
No huddle again. This time Edelman gets hogtied out of bounds after a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Clearly the pace of this game has been in the favor of the New England Patriots, but the settling changes up front with the veterans Dan Connolly at guard and Ryan Wendell at the other guard. It looks like they finally settled what has been their biggest issue.
4-man rush. Brady hangs in. Open over the middle. Gronkowski to the 49-yard line. He's getting more healthy every week, and boy, when he's healthy, about as good as it gets.
And Tom Brady, now watch what he does here. He sets his feet and rocks this thing in there. It used to be that you would see Tom Brady time after time almost stand flat-footed, just like that. Look around, bingo.
After the play, a flag is down. The play was good for 14. And then the flag came in at the end of the play.
How's that start?
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 87, blow to the head of the opponent. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Gronkowski, a blow to the head of the opponent, cost him all the yardage he picked up.
Wow. I mean, that happens every game. I mean, you ask your guys, don't fight back. He kind of grabs his arm. He does a little jaw, and they go face mask to face mask. Happens unless it happened before that and we didn't see it.
Yeah. And Belichick, of course, disputes the call. The crowd looked at the replay. They dispute it. And what it does, it keeps it as a first down, but it makes it 1st and 25. Here's Boger again on the mic.
It's 1st and 10, New England. 1st and 10.
Right. Okay. So originally they had the sticks in the wrong place. And Belichick saying, hey, we'll get them in the right place, and they do. So 1st and 10. But it does cost them a first down 15 yards upfield.
But that happened well after that play was over. Wasn't that a dead ball foul?
That's what I believed it was from the 33-yard line. Brady now on play action, under pressure, and this time they get to him at the 25-yard line. He gets sacked by Robert Gathers. And that's going to take us to the end of the quarter.
Well, that time it was Gronkowski in pass protection that gave it up. Brady had good protection everywhere else, but tough for tight ends to handle those defensive ends. Most of the failings you see happens when that matchup occurs.
2nd and 17 when the second quarter commences, and the 1-14-0 New England. And Sunday Night Football from Foxborough continues after these messages. Patriots on top 14-0 as Brady surveys, has time, guns it a little bit low. Flag comes in. Danny Amendola went to the turf, but the officials throwing 2 flags in the same area. And Amendola, who's had his injury issues, groin surgery in the offseason, he needs some assistance in coming off the field.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. Spot the foul. Automatic first down.
So that's Reggie Nelson that gives him an automatic first down on a 2nd and 17 play.
Here we go, and he's going to run a little in cut. Reggie Nelson is going to come flying in here. I thought originally they called some kind of helmet to helmet, and I didn't see that. It's kind of a bang-bang play there, but they got the pass interference out of it. Some interesting calls already.
So that one spotted by 2 officials. Ridley is the running back, first down from the 48. And Chris, just to go back until a couple of years ago, it was a 1st and 25 situation on that play that we saw with the dead ball foul. But once he picked up the first down, under those circumstances, they changed the rule to make it a 1st and 10.
All right, then.
Right. The Bengals, meanwhile, in 3 games, they had trailed for 48 seconds in 3 games. 48 seconds in the 4th quarter at Baltimore.
Yeah,
and that was it. Never trailed against Atlanta, didn't trail against Tennessee. And right now trailing since about the 5-minute mark of the 1st quarter. 2nd down and 8. Brady going deep, and out in front is Edelman, but he can't get there. Pass floating. Edelman had to come back toward the middle of the field. Incomplete. He beaten the coverage.
Great job by Tom Brady. Saw the man coverage across the board here. Route right up the seam against probably the best slot corner there is. Leon Hall goes right by him and just can't quite connect on it. So there has been some big plays missed already in this game.
4 down.
3rd and 8.
Louis, all right.
And that Bengal defense starts to shift, and you saw Brady take the timeout with the play clock down to 1. Well, we've talked about it. It's been so crazy in New England. I mean, they're the most passionate fans in America, at least tied for. Been a bad year for the Red Sox, right? Celtics trying to rebound. Bruins are pretty good, but nothing. I've never seen anything like this week in New England.
Well, you know, you just have learned to expect that they're going to be great. And then you see them get blown out like that. And you know, if you played long enough, you've been involved in a few of those, and it just starts to avalanche on you and you can't get out of it. And then you start trying too hard. And Brady was telling us this week that the word this week has been trust. Just do your job. Quit trying to do somebody else's job. Do what you're trained to do, and everything's going to fall into place. Said it's worked for the past decade around here. It'll work again.
Well, you have to also, he said, balance urgency with patience.
64-80, honey.
They've got the urgency part down tonight. They are in a hurry out there.
3rd down and 8 from the 50-yard line. And Brady under pressure and has to sling it away. Carlos Dunlap got into the backfield in a hurry, and it's 4th down.
I don't think the Patriots got the snap count on this one. Watch this. There's really no movement, no reaction whatsoever out of Gronkowski and Sebastian Vollmer on the right side. And Carlos Dunlap comes flying around the edge. The trust didn't work out that time.
And now a couple of Bengals are talking to Boger, and they're asking for grounding.
Intentional grounding.
They're going to get it.
Offense, number 12. The quarterback was in the pocket, and there was no receiver in the vicinity of the pass.
Dunlap.
Lost it down. 4th down.
And Gilberry, the two ends, they went and lobbied Boger for the call, and he said, you know, you're right.
Yeah, they need to go to law school, huh? There's nobody around, under pressure, still in the pocket. And now they're going to have to punt from farther back, and the Bengals needed that stop. They had to stop the momentum.
Ryan Allen descended in the air. It's a wobbly and short kick, fielded by Tate at the 20-yard line, and he'll bring it back to the 25. Tackled by Michael Buchanan. You got a little scrum going on here. It's the Bengals and the Patriots. Hardly a love fest. Bengals mistake-free this year. Haven't suffered a sack, haven't lost a fumble. One interception off a deflected pass that Bernard couldn't hold on to, as Dalton airs it out, and the pass is out of bounds. A.J. Green and Darrelle Revis in that big-time matchup.
Well, anytime the receiver is going to release to the outside, you're going to see this kind of angle from Revis. And then he's going to get that little shoulder bump going down the field. But as the quarterback looks at it, he thinks that in order to make that completion, he's got to throw it over the outside. But Revis has already pinned him into the corner, and there's nowhere to go.
And Dalton trying to reposition Hewitt, doesn't know where to go. Here comes Hill. Total confusion on offense. Play clock is at 5. What's this play going to look like? Like that. And you got everybody looking around wondering what you're going to do. That's normally what takes place. Now you've got the play coming back. The play was whistled dead. But the handoff went to Jeremy Hill. He was stopped in his tracks. Surprised they didn't call a timeout there.
Well, Clint Bowling just pulls around, and Walker is going to just follow him into the hole and make the play. There was just an uneasiness to that play from the beginning. Probably should have been a timeout and a regroup. The Bengals really look unsettled at this point.
Yeah, Hewitt had no idea where to line up. 3rd and 14. 4-man rush, and this one is whistled dead. There may be a challenge. A challenge in terms of, was the play dead? It was whistled dead on the field, but Belichick says he wants the officials to take a look at it. New York is already checking it out.
But forward progress,
right,
if that's what they called.
It was whistled dead. It's forward progress, and I think, there's no way you can challenge this, and well, that's what Belichick is probably being told right now. What the crowd is seeing is the replay, but they had whistled the play dead because Hill's forward progress was stopped there. Yeah, that's it. He's there. Now the ball does come.
There's no challenge on the play. The ruling on the field was that the runner's forward progress had been stopped prior to the ball coming loose. 3rd down.
Right, so you can't challenge the play. Much ado about nothing.
Bill wants to challenge everything this week.
He's been challenged all week. We're on to Cincinnati.
On to Cincinnati. They're on Cincinnati right now.
3rd and 14.
No sacks this season is going to be challenged right here, too.
4-man rush, and then you got another whistle here for a false start.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's a 9-year veteran left tackle, Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah, working against Chandler Jones. You'll see him just jump out a little bit early on that one. We haven't seen a lot of Chandler Jones so far. Dominic Easley started because of the shoulder injury to Chandler Jones, and Jones is their best pass rusher. So maybe they're just going to try and spot him in obvious pass rush situations in this one.
3rd and 19. 3 of 6 for only 22 yards. Pressure on. Dalton gets hit as he throws, but he gets the pass away to Hill. Nice game, but short of the first down. To the 31 he goes. Jamie Collins came in and hit Dalton as he got rid of it. So they needed 19 and got 14. It's 4th and 5.
I really think the key to this game so far has been the play of Darrelle Revis. Even though he had the one flag, the one penalty out there, he's been able to take away A.J. Green. And typically for the Bengals, when they get one-on-one matchups against anybody, A.J. Green wins. Tonight, not so much.
Hubert a punt. Edelman back to receive it. The rush was on. The kick is a line drive. Edelman fields and gets corralled immediately at the 26-yard line. And you got Arrington, who's shaken up on the play. Patriots have the ball. Bill Belichick, dad was a coach, and this is Bill's 40th season coaching in the NFL. 20 seasons as an assistant coach and 20 seasons as a head coach. He was in Cleveland back in the 90s for 5 years. Now here for 15, first man in history. 20 seasons both as an assistant and as a head coach. Hired by Ted March of Broda when he was 22 years old in Baltimore, getting coffee, doing everything, making out charts, getting like $25 a week, whatever it was, something ridiculous.
And after the career he's put together this week, the headlines were all about "In Bill We Trust," big question marks, and the way it's gone.
He's taken a lot of grief for his drafts in the past 3 years. Here's Ridley taking it up to the 35 because Bill has control over personnel. Not only is he the head coach, but he might as well be the general manager as well.
And they have a history here that they want to trade you before things start to fall apart in your career, and they're going to do it to everybody. It doesn't matter.
No huddle on 2nd and 3. Ridley again getting the full workload tonight, and he's up to the 38-yard line, and that is a first down.
Well, we talked about Logan Mankins, but Wes Welker. Doesn't matter what you've done for him in the past.
To the outside, catch is made. That's Brandon LaFell, and there's a penalty.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 63, 15-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Call it on Dan Connolly.
Once you're engaged on a block, another player cannot. Here we go. Right here is Dan Connolly. Stork is going to be engaged, and then Connolly is going to go low, and that's your foul. It's fine if you stay above the waist, but once you go low, that is a penalty.
And since it is classified as a personal foul, it's a 15-yarder. From the 24, quick toss out to the right side. Right, the tight end takes it to the 28-yard line. Bill Belichick through the years, I mean, when it's time to go, it's time to go. Bledsoe, of course, gone when Brady took over. Deion Branch traded and came back. Castle went after Brady got healthy. Vrabel, Seymour, Randy Moss in 2010. And most recently, Mankins to Tampa Bay.
And every time it's been, what are they doing? This guy's won world championships, but they've stayed ahead of the curve.
2nd and 21. 10 minutes left in the half. Brady's going to air it out. Deep downfield. Coverage is good, though. LaFell, the nearest receiver. Adam Jones, the performer formerly known as Pac-Man, covering on the play. 3rd and 21.
LaFell might get an earful when he gets back to the huddle. He acted like he never had any idea that ball was coming to him. Watch this. This is where Brady's going with a deep ball. You don't get many of these opportunities. He throws you one, and you quit on the route. Brady developed a little trust with him last week in Kansas City. That's going to be a little chink in that trust.
3rd and 21. Going to run a draw play. Give it to Vereen. He swings to the outside. Gets up to the 43-yard line. Needed 21. Wound up getting about 16. So they'll have to punt.
You know, I really thought this was an opportunity for the Bengals in this game to start to establish something with their running game. But so far, they look like they've just been on their heels and not able to do what they've done all season, which is control the line of scrimmage, make some plays running the football, play action off of it. And so far, this pace has completely been one-sided towards the Patriots.
New England's run 28 plays, and Cincinnati's run only 14. Tip toward the sideline, hauled in at the 23-yard line. Here come flags again. Brandon Tate hauling it in. And more laundry.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Kicking team, number 91. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. First down, Cincinnati.
That's Jamie Collins for the penalty. 9:07 to go in the first half. 14-0 Patriots.
Darrelle Revis making big money for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, and here's why. A.J. Green, one of the best receivers in football, and so far Revis in this one-on-one fist fight happening on the outside has gotten the better of it. Really frustrating Green. You'll see Revis as soon as he gets the initial contact, little arm fighting. He knows exactly how much he can do and can't do. That was probably the one opportunity the Bengals had, and they missed it.
So the Bengals still trying to get something going offensively. They start with play action. Dalton's going to take off and take the ball out to the 42-yard line. You know, it's interesting. You look at Revis, and you know he was the shutdown corner. A lot of people thought best in the league in New York. Then they let him go. He goes to Tampa, stays there only 1 year, and winds up here.
So we asked him. I said, "Why aren't you in Tampa?" So, you know, I guess Lovie Smith and the Tampa too, and they don't really need that man-to-man. I don't know, but he was happy to be here.
2nd and 6, and Dalton throws, and the pass is incomplete. Flag is down. Green was the intended receiver. 8 accepted penalties in the game tonight.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 37. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Alfonso Dennard.
Dennard back from a shoulder injury right here. A little in and out route. The jersey pull slightly, so there have been some baby calls. There's Revis, complete coverage. There's Arrington on the outside. Right now, the secondary's winning for the Patriots.
Dalton, good protection, and throws it, but it's on the ground. It is dropped. Is it still alive? No. Incomplete. One official came in and did not signal that the play was over. Now you got another flag on the play. The other official comes in, signals incomplete. Getting very ragged.
Yeah, one official threw the beanbag, meaning he thought it was a fumble.
Yep.
And I think that generally the officials want to err on that side because they can always go back and make it incomplete.
So another conference.
Just no possession whatsoever. Easy call. Incomplete pass.
Yep. Receivers are going to need a convention center here pretty soon. Devin McCourty came in, and he's the guy that dislodged it. Boger now with the call.
The rule on the field is an incomplete pass. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 74, it's a blindside block. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That would be your rookie, Dominique Easley.
Well, right there, coming from the backside into the back shoulder of Giovanni Bernard. But basically, people are kind of stopping on the play. Wow.
Yep.
So if they just blew the whistle initially and called it incomplete, that penalty would not have happened.
And this is Sanu, who takes a little swing pass. Picks up about 6 before he goes out of bounds.
Well, Mohamed Sanu can catch him and he can throw him. This guy's 4 for 4 this year. Almost got Andy Dalton killed on that one throwback pass, but He has a perfect quarterback rating, high school quarterback. Always a threat whenever he's on reverses.
2nd and 3 now. And through the middle with a nice hole goes Bernard. Giovanni Bernard. You know, you would think he was named after some astronomer or a musician. We asked him last night, how'd you get the name Giovanni? His parents from Haiti said my dad was running a dry cleaning store. One of his customers was a guy named Giovanni. I'm named after him.
Makes sense to me.
Right. From the 21-yard line, Bernard again to the 18-yard line, tackle there by Chris Jones.
It's always interesting to me to watch a rookie go to work. Russell Bodine, the center for the Cincinnati Bengals, now just a rookie. And anytime you're out there and you're lined up and you're looking at Vince Wilfork, who you knew he watched growing up, that is a lot of man right here. You can see Wilfork in there this time against the guard, but Bernard, so much quickness for a little guy, sure runs well between the tackles.
Less than 7 minutes to play in a first half that has bogged down with the penalties. 2nd down and 7. And Dalton throwing and dropped. Jermaine Gresham, the tight end, had gotten free, had beaten the coverage, and simply dropped it.
Working against Jamie Collins, it's the matchup you dream for. First tight end picked in the draft, the same year that Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham was, and boy, that's an easy one.
Makes it 3rd down and 7. Five-man rush. Pass is incomplete. Looking around for the flag. You do have one now. That's Green, A.J. Green in the end zone. Patriot defense just throwing their hands up to the sky.
While the quarterback was in the pocket, holding, defense, number 37. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Dennard again.
Right here, second time on this drive to keep it alive.
Second holding call on Alfonso.
Well, this is for the Patriots. This is who they are. They're a physical team at the line of scrimmage, and if they can't get away with that, it's going to be a tough night for them.
1st and 10 from the 13. Back on the ground, gain of 5. Bernard inside the 10-yard line to the 8. Defensive holding penalties. Take a look at this. Last year through week 4, 38. This year, more than double, 90.
One of the points of emphasis, as they call it, and so they're going to crack down. This is an offensive league. It always has been. They want points scored, and that certainly helps.
2nd and 5 from the 8. Here goes Bernard. This is going to set up a 3rd down and 2 from the 5-yard line.
You know, it's interesting. Giovanni Bernard in high school lived with James White, one of the running backs for the New England Patriots. Some things going on with his dad, and just moved in, and they were best of friends, and now opponents here tonight.
3rd and a deuce. Matt Patricia is the defensive coordinator. You see Hugh Jackson, who's called the play in to Andy Dalton on the other side. On a 3rd and a deuce. And again, with the play clock going down, a little confusion in the backfield again. They get the play off with 1, and they stop at the 5-yard line. Bernard.
Al, one of the really tough things is when you let that play clock go down like that, they know you have to snap it. There's no mystery as to when the snap's going to happen. And in short yardage situations, you're allowing the defense to fly off the football and make a play. The Bengals have to get going. They have to be faster with their play calls and their decisions at the line of scrimmage.
And they still had trouble lining up until the very end.
So a team that's been nearly flawless all season tonight has just struggled with the pace of this game.
23-yard attempt for Nugent, who earlier missed from 52, and this one is good. So the Bengals get on the board with 4:33. Could have had 7. Gresham drop one in the end zone, settle for 3, and it's 14-3 New England. South Bend, Indiana.
Boy, what a game that was. It was cold and wet and rainy, and the Irish delivered on the final drive of the game.
With the score 14-3, backing up, juggling the ball, and then that's Matthew Slater who will down it there. And Brady goes to work at the 20.
Patriots been fishing around for the right combination at the offensive line, and inside now it has been Brian Stork, the rookie, Ryan Wendell, and Dan Conley who have gotten it done. And look at the protection. We have not seen this for Tom Brady really all season long. Tonight he looks like he is comfortable. He has found a new favorite target in Tim Wright. 2 tight ends to work with now, and Brady looks more comfortable than he has all season.
Cannon in that right tackle now with Vollmer out, and the pass is dropped at the 35, right there with Gronkowski. Gronkowski, you go back 2 or 3 years and he was fantastic, and then he was paired up with Aaron Hernandez, and we all know about that story. But then he started suffering a number of injuries, was never completely healthy last year, still working his way back into shape. And as I said before, if he's healthy, he's as good as it gets at that spot.
Knee, forearm, back, surgeries, all. And he's just trying to get back to where he was.
2nd and 10 from the 20. And through the middle, Vereen. Out to the 31-yard line goes Shane Vereen.
Well, if you're going to play against this Patriots offense, you're going to get blocked at odd angles. Here you're going to get the fullback, James Devlin, coming down on Domata Peko, which allowed Conley to get up on the linebacker. Nice design there by Josh McDaniels.
Brady flips it out. Tim Wright. And that banking straight is all of a sudden looking a little bit better in the eyes of the Patriots.
A little bit better, isn't it? We used to see a little of this out of Aaron Hernandez. He would come out, just flare out. Hernandez would line up in the backfield. So far tonight, everything's working.
No huddle again. Vereen is able to work his way back to the middle of the field, across the 50, and a first down. Good running game tonight for the Patriots. They've already rushed for 93 yards. No huddle again. Brady, good time, a lot of time in the pocket, but the pass low and outside for Gronkowski.
One of the keys is for the interior 3 to hold steady right on this line. Allow Tom Brady time to step up, step into those throws. Tonight he's been able to drive through these throws. This one he missed. He missed one earlier. It's not perfect, but you could see the confidence in his ability to throw growing tonight.
2nd and 10 as the tight ends come off the field, and they give it to Vereen to the 45-yard line. A little over 3 remaining in the first half. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Devin's still in on that tackle, and of course his daughter Leah battling cancer. We talked about it, and I'll tell you, so many people, Sean Payton and others, have really stepped up to buy those jerseys to help that fight.
Josh Elliott with a great feature on our pregame tonight. 3rd down and 5 now from the 44-yard line. Blitz, gets it away, caught, first down. Danny Amendola.
Well, that one's going to mean something to Danny Amendola. No catches in the last 3 games, and he's been hearing about it around here. He was supposed to be the guy that replaced Wes Welker, and instead it has really been Julian Edelman who has taken over that role. And Julian Edelman, one of my favorite players to watch. I've never seen a guy give more effort on every down than that guy does.
And special teams as well. as the punt returner. Vereen tries to go outside, and Mr. Geno Atkins says, "You're not going anywhere," as we go to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining in the first half at Foxborough. 14-3 Patriots. On 2nd down and 10, inside 2 minutes now, is Shane Vereen getting the ball to the 31-yard line. Good rushing night for New England. That's already 104 ground yards, 20 carries.
Well, you think about the pace and you go, oh, well, they're going no huddle, and that means they're throwing the football and all that. But that's not really what's happening here. They're going at a quick pace, and they haven't gotten the pass rush, but they've also been really effective running the football.
3rd and 3. Brady out of the gun. Bengals almost jumped. And Brady throws a little behind and incomplete. That's Gronkowski. So they are stopped on 3rd and 3. Lamore covering on the play, and Gostowski comes in to try to tack on 3 more.
Has a chance here. This ball just a little bit behind. That's the Bengals' best cover linebacker, Emmanuel Lamure. He had it in his hands. Lamure just made a good play to knock it out. The Bengals will have a little time here to try and get themselves back in this one anyway.
1:17. Bengals have 2 of their timeouts. 48-yard attempt for Gostowski. And right down the middle for Steven to make it a 14-point game with 1:12 left in the half. October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Before the game, more than 200 breast cancer survivors took part in a really nice ceremony here in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Get those mammograms detected early and save your life. Had a nice pink ribbon luncheon this week in Cincinnati, and just need to get the word out. The National Football League doing a nice job with that.
Throughout October, you'll be seeing a lot of pink. Brandon Tate, 6 yards in and coming out, but not very far. Great coverage there. Tackled at the 9-yard line by Jones. Annual screening saves lives. He'll finish the fight against breast cancer by visiting NFL.com/pink to celebrate the NFL and American Cancer Society's first ever A Crucial Catch Day, which will be October the 25th. So now from the 9-yard line, you've got 68 seconds. You've got 2 timeouts. What do you do?
I think you have to be aggressive. They've been successful moving the football in this game. They've just had big drops. They've had big overthrows. Also, a big mistake here could cost you the game, but Dalton's been great with the ball security.
They will get the second half kickoff over the middle. That's a nice gain. And then it's dropped at the 29-yard line. Fumbled away. The Patriots have it. And inside the 10-yard line goes Dennard, and he's going to be stopped at the 3-yard line. So now what are you going to have here? Was it a completion? They're going to say yes, but they're going to bring it now back to the 23-yard line. I think contending there was contact made, as you've got Green tackled by Revis. The ball comes out. Jamie Collins is going to wind up with the football. Here he comes. And now you got another conference going on.
I think they're going to say it was definitely a fumble. There's no doubt about that.
The ruling on the field is that after the fumble recovery, the New England player fumbled the ball and a different New England player recovered the fumble. Under 2 minutes, that ball is brought back to the spot of the fumble. First down, New England.
Right, so Collins had it, and then when he fumbled it and Dennard picked it up inside 2 minutes, you can't advance it. You retain possession, but it comes back to that spot.
No holy rollers allowed inside of 2 minutes here. Jamie Collins just lost the ball, and it almost looked like a lateral the way it happened so quickly there. But the Bengals were aggressive, complete a big pass, and Darrelle Revis right now, the story of this first half. He has won the battle against A.J. Green.
Patriots maybe trying to contend that he was trying to lateral it. But the ruling on the field was that he fumbled it. The play is under review. We were inside 2 minutes. There's no challenge here. So if he's trying to lateral it, that's a different story.
Is under review.
Of course, did he lateral it forward? 114 things going on. We'll sort it out when we come back. We'll get the ball at the 25-yard line. They're looking for the spot where Collins gave up the ball. He wasn't trying to lateral it. When you see the replay again, you'll see clearly that he fumbles it. Collins, number one, it is a fumble by Green. It's picked up by Collins, and then it can't be advanced because it was a fumble and not a lateral by anybody else on that team.
You know, but was it a backwards?
After viewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It was a fumble at the 25-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute.
So New England will get the ball short field. Brady will go to work. 2 timeouts for the Patriots and 60 seconds on the clock. First turnover of the game. And it's the first lost fumble by the Bengals. Brady over the middle to Gronkowski to the 6-yard line. Reggie Nelson makes the tackle. First and goal.
I'll tell you, this looks like the New England Patriots from about 6 years ago. These tight ends working the seams. The Bengals have had no answers.
Brady, you can afford to milk the clock here. They've got 2 timeouts. Down to a half minute. Surveying, taking off, and Tom will be stopped at the 3-yard line. And New England will take its second timeout.
Same play that Tim Wright worked earlier. Gronkowski getting up in the seam just in front of the safety. That big body. He knows he's going to take a hit from Reggie Nelson. Doesn't care. And then Tom Brady, he's been running like Mike Vick tonight. All over the place. He needs to get the slide working, though, to protect himself. Last thing in the world you want now. This crowd that was questioning Tom Brady a week ago now wants no part of this guy running the football. But for Carlos Dunlap, Robert gathers, the pressure simply has not been there tonight, and I think it has a lot to do with the pace.
Brady 4 carries, 13 yards tonight. 108 yards on the ground for the Patriots. Second and goal. Brady with everybody going right and under pressure and throws that one out of bounds. Now 19 seconds, it'll be 3rd down and goal.
Well, it's tough when your offense turns it over backed up in your own end, but for Darrelle Revis, I tell you, he has been on A.J. Green tonight.
Paul Gunther, watching his defense, spent a lot of time on the field tonight. This will be New England's 42nd play. Ridley back in as the running back. Give it to Ridley, and he's going to get stopped at the 1. Now what? 4th and goal. Iloka stops him. 12 seconds. New England's going to take its final timeout.
That 3rd and final. This is a 30-second timeout.
From the Patriots, they go for it. What
really?
Do you do? Well, yeah. Well, a field goal does turn it into a 3-possession game, but
I mean, the only thing I think sometimes is which way is the momentum going in the game. So you take a field goal here, and the momentum is all yours going in at halftime. If you go ahead and try it and you miss, the Bengals are fired up. They're celebrating, running off the field. I cheated. I actually saw him.
Yes, you did. I know you did. Come on. I thought they'd go for it. So they're going to try to turn it into a 3-possession lead, if nothing else. Gostowski with a chip shot. Cincinnati will get the second half kickoff. You cheated, you lied. And there's 3 more to make the score 20-3 Patriots. Tonight, Brady 153, so he's had a big night, and on the ground, that's really been a big night for New England. 110 rushing yards, averaging 5 yards per carry.
You know, the biggest problem looks like it's solved now for the New England Patriots. Brian Stork, despite the fact they had a very bad game against Kansas City, I thought established himself for a rookie player, being able to handle that crowd noise and all the issues that go with it at Kansas City. Then they took the veteran guys, Ryan Wendell, Dan Connolly around him. All of a sudden, the 2 tackles who looked unsettled the last few weeks, Sebastian Vollmer and Nate Solder, because of the veterans inside of them, now that looks better too.
Historic has arrived. I just want to see if you're listening.
Trying.
Nine seconds left in the half. Man, you walked around town the last couple of days, everybody's going, oh man, dynasty is over. What's wrong with the Patriots? They're terrible. And they go to the locker room with a sizable advantage after the run back here by Brandon Tate is halted up at the 27-yard line. Well, Robert Kraft bought this team in the mid-90s. Tremendous success. Talking to Steve Burke, our boss, right now. And there's Jonathan Kraft sitting off Robert's left shoulder. 3 Super Bowl titles. They've been to 3 other Super Bowls. Seems as if the AFC Championship game always involves the New England Patriots. The 3 banners right there.
And the 2 Super Bowls they lost were great plays by the New York Giants late in those games.
On both occasions, and the last play of the half will be Giovanni Bernard for a gain of 9. Cincinnati will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
Still plenty of time for the Bengals. They just have to quit making mistakes. They've had opportunities, but can't play poorly in this building.
Gostowski. Tate from 5 yards in. And he'll set Dalton up at the 19-yard line. We go to Michelle.
Well, Marvin Lewis told me at halftime he wants his offense to up the tempo when they have the ball. And he said when the Patriots have the ball, Brady's getting rid of it so fast, they don't have time to get pressure on him. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick told me he wants his team to stay aggressive and cut back on the penalties. And by the way, safety Devin McCourty is questionable with a rib injury, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And so McCourty's spot, as you look at him, Deron Harmon comes in at the safety spot opposite Patrick Chung. Meanwhile, empty backfield here to start on 1st down, and the pass is too high over the middle, intended for Gresham, who dropped a sure touchdown. Dennard that time on a corner blitz came in to put the heat on.
Yeah, coming right across the field, absolutely wide open again, and they can't hit the play. Gresham drops one. Andy's missed a couple. You know, this is just not what we've seen in the first 3 games out of the Bengals. They've been so efficient. And tonight, with the bright lights, you have to say it, it's not happening.
They'll try it on the ground. And this is Giovanni Bernard up to the 24. Well, nothing through the air for Cincinnati tonight. Dalton 6 out of 12 for a measly 63 yards.
Yeah, and Hugh Jackson said he has talked with A.J. Green. He is chewed on him. He thinks he can be the very best there is in football. He wants that fire to burn inside of him. Tonight he gets an opportunity to show that because he gets one of the best against him, and his team needs him right now.
wide on a 3rd and 5. And Dalton down the sideline, and that one is over the head of James Wright. So Cincinnati begins with a 3 and out.
Rivas isn't the only one getting it done. Watch Kyle Arrington right out here. Gets up and jams the receiver, James Wright, pins him right into the boundary. I don't care if you're Johnny Unitas, you can't fit a ball in there. There's just no way. These receivers have to start winning some battles at the line of scrimmage, and so far they simply have not.
Kevin Huber for his 3rd punt of the night. Edelman downfield. And won't have a chance here because it's a short kick that goes out of bounds. There's a flag down. The kick was a very short kick. 35 yards. Holger.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 29. 10-yard penalty enforced from the end of the kick. New England keeps the ball. 1st down, timeout.
Second penalty on Jones. New England with the football.
Maybe it's just the law of averages, but for Marvin Lewis's team that had played nearly flawlessly in the first 3, tonight a different story. Gresham with an easy catch, drop for a touchdown. Lemur had a chance for an interception, and then even when they get a pass completed, A.J. Green with a little push off, complete, get the drive started, fumbled, led to 3 more points. So defensively, they have to answer because their offense did nothing coming out of the half.
Now Brady starts this drive from the 31-yard line. Play action, completes the pass, staying on his feet, picking up the 1st down is James Devlin, the fullback. Gains 11, moves the chains.
I'll tell you, this James Devlin's had a nice game so far. We've already highlighted a couple of blocks that he's made. That time it looked like the isolation play where he's going to go in and block the linebacker, Vincent Ray, and instead he just feigned the block and went out on the route and made a nice catch.
From the 42. There's Ridley trying to get around the corner, and they wrap him up and knock him down. Luger gets credit for the tackle. You imagine earlier this week there was actually some, not controversy, but some people were saying maybe it's time for Jimmy Garoppolo to play quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, and Garoppolo had a nice game the other night, but if you knew the difference mentally between where Garoppolo is right now and where Tom Brady, anyway, fans are fans.
2nd and 13.
I mean, you would never know the limited protection.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
The center, Brian Stork.
There's Garoppolo, and let's give him credit. He looked good. Came in at the end of the Kansas City game the other day, and big touchdown pass, came over all fired up. But he also understood by the time they got finished with the film session that, maybe I made up a few things out there.
2nd and 18, and they take care of Shane Vereen with Pecco and Gilberry.
Well, Tom Brady, one of the classic over-the-top releases, really no wasted motion there whatsoever. And when he gets a chance to set his feet, be comfortable in the pocket, .33 is about as fast as we've seen. I think .30 maybe the fastest we've ever seen. Ball out quickly.
3rd and 21. Here's Gronkowski. Flag is down. New England has been penalized 10 times tonight for 99 yards. They withstood that. This one will go against them as well.
Holding. Offense, number 77. That penalty decline. Result of the play, 4th down.
So it's 4th down, and they'll have to punt with 11:58 to go in the 3rd quarter.
You know, after the initial onslaught, those first 2 touchdowns by the Patriots, where they just had the Bengals on their heels, defensively they've done a pretty nice job. Now their offense needs to wake up.
Ryan Allen to punt. Adam Jones. And Adam Jones across the 50, down the sideline, and that run back might ignite the Bengals. They can only hope at this point. The former Pac-Man with a great return here, and sets them up in New England territory after a 47-yard run back.
Adam Jones has not had a fair catch since 2006. I was talking to him on the field before the game. He said he feels like it's his duty to catch it and try. One of the top punt returners in the game. And Matthew Slater, one of the Pro Bowl guys on the outside, one of the top special teams guys in the league, got a lot of attention on that one.
So now the Bengals set up with a short field at the 37-yard line. Sanu in motion. Dalton from the pocket, throws, caught, touchdown. Mohamed Sanu beats Dennard, so you've got the run back by Jones and then one play and into the end zone, 37 yards to get him back in the game.
It's one of the problems with this quarters coverage is anytime you play it, everybody just has a quarter of the field, but you basically leave the inside open if the tight end goes up the field. That time Jermaine Gresham up the field, and it left it wide open to the post. Andy Dalton got some protection, but I love the play call there by Hugh Jackson. You get the big punt return, you go right for the kill, Bengals back in it.
Sanu's second touchdown catch of the season. He also threw one to Dalton against Tennessee. Extra point is good by Nugent. So the punt return does ignite Cincinnati with 11:27 to go in the third. 20-10 New England. Adam Jones, 47-yard punt return, and then one play and into the end zone. 20-10 early in the third. 2 yards in. Patrick Chung will bring it out to the 14-yard line, taken down by Jason DeMonch. Back to the TD we go.
Here's the key in this quarters coverage. These guys are here, but if this tight end comes up, this guy has to jump that route, so there's nobody left in the middle for anybody to help Alfonso Dennard. There goes Gresham up the field. Andy Dalton sees that. Now you've got to go jump that route. Nobody in the middle of the field. Easy touchdown for Andy Dalton.
Now Brady from the 14-yard line.
Oh, a little motion out of the Bengals now.
Stephen Ridley gets taken down there. Gilberry in on the stop. Gain of 1.
Nice play there by Wallace Gilberry working against Gronkowski. Just took the inside slant. Here's a guy that has been one of their top pass rushers. Watch him just shoot down inside and basically beat Gronkowski to the play.
Good protection. Fired over the middle. Caught by Gronkowski at the 31-yard line. First down.
As a receiver, that's when you say thank you very much. Your quarterback protects you with where he throws the ball. Throws it down and inside. Iloka was lining up for a big hit, but Brady took care of Gronkowski there. Threw it where Iloka simply could not get.
You catch that high five from Gronkowski the wrong way, you've got a broken forearm. No gain here for Ridley. And there's Gronk with that left arm, the bicep padded up. He's going to come back into the huddle. He's got the knee brace. Got it all going.
You have to admire his courage, though. He's been through a lot. The back surgery may be as difficult to overcome as anything, so he knows he's needed, and he's out there.
2nd and 10. And Brady finds the open man in the seam. Tim Wright in his coming-of-age night as a New England Patriot to the 43-yard line. First down.
First of all, they try and show blitz here, which means they can't get out. So Brady's going to pump to the outside. Linebackers, Lemur reacts up to that. and working that seam again. I'll bet you they have 100 yards receiving on those seam throws tonight against the Bengals.
Wright himself has now caught 5 for 85 yards. Vereen is the running back. Give it to him. And Vereen through the middle and then to the outside for a first down to the 29-yard line, tackled by Terrence Newman.
What a run by Vereen here. Watch this lateral step here and here. Looks like Lemur's got him completely lined up and doesn't even get a whiff. That's what they used to say about Barry Sanders, that you go to tackle him and you think you're just going to drill the guy and you don't even make contact. That kind of quickness is why it's tough to get Shane Vereen out of the lineup.
Vereen, good receiver as well, but making his mark on the ground tonight. 7 carries for 62. Ridley back in. Ridley has it. Ridley to the short side of the field, and he gets hog-tied out of bounds by Maualuga.
The Patriots have come back very patiently. They give up the big kick return, the punt return, and then they gave up the touchdown, and they've come back and just pounded it. And I think sometimes when you get those veteran players in the game, now they have Solder, they have Conley, they have Wendell, they have Vollmer, and they just come out and they've pounded the ball. They're coming off the football in the running game.
2-to-1 ratio in rushing yards. Brady then flips the ball to Ridley. There is a flag for the moment. Ridley would have a first down. Jerome Boger, though, says it's a hold against New England, so this one will come back.
Holding. Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Rookie center Stork.
Don't see Tom Brady turn the wrong direction many times, but he clearly did here. First of all, there's Stork with the hold just as he starts to get away. He can't. Brady's going to reverse out. Whoops. At least he got creative and found a way to get it over there.
Makes it second down 16 at the 35-yard line. 4-man rush, short pass underneath drop. It'll be third down and 16.
Well, you're right there on that cutoff point now as far as trying a field goal. I'm going to guess either you're going to get a short, quick pass, some kind of a draw. Make sure you get that ball down where you feel a little more confident about the field goal. This was the direction when you had that slight breeze blowing in your face.
Right, and it would be a 53-yard attempt if they don't gain a yard here and try a field goal. 3rd and 16. And the handoff goes to Vereen, and they're going to get not only that extra yardage to get him in field goal range, comfortable range, but a first down. Big play.
Great block by Sebastian Vollmer. Down, going to just drive his guy all the way down. Conley comes around, and again, the quickness of Vereen, the difference there, and that is just horrendous by the Bengals. Here you are, you've got them backed up, possibly. They're just really sort of playing for the field goal there, and you allow them a first down.
3rd and 16, you give up 19 yards. The ball at the 16-yard line. Brady resetting Edelman. Here's Ridley. And he stays on his feet, but not much longer. Stopped for no gain. And the Patriots tonight, 145 rushing yards.
Tom Brady sounded like a director there, and the script had gone awry. I'm saying, all right, guys, you get here. Now from the top. He's going to say, let's start this thing over again.
Take 2.
Yeah.
And Brady fires it over the middle. Caught. Touchdown, Rob Gronkowski.
Big problem has been the inside protection. Watch these two guys right here, Stork, Wendell. Their guys don't leave the line of scrimmage. Brady has no problem stepping up, and Gronkowski, Tim Wright, These tight ends down the middle of the field have worn the Bengals out.
45th touchdown pass he's caught from that man, Brady. Gronkowski tonight, 6 catches for 100 yards. They got that big 19-yard gain on a 3rd and 16. Patriots fired up again, leading 27-10. Most touchdown catches since the 2010 season, Calvin Johnson of the Lions, 47. And then there is Gronkowski, who just grabbed number 46. 45 of those coming from the right hand of Tom Brady, as this is taken 7 yards deep. Brandon Tate loses the ball, and the Patriots pick it up and take it in. Kyle Arrington recovers and goes into the end zone. Brandon Bolden put the shot on Tate to extract the football.
You don't make the team as a backup unless you can play special teams. There's the big running back, Brandon Bolden, with the play that is going to have the 72 Dolphins chilling the champagne already at this point in the evening. This is going to be one of the earliest seasons ever without an undefeated football team.
On the 5th night of October, unless you have a monster comeback, there will not be an undefeated team in the league. Arizona losing today for the first time this season at Denver, and right now it's 34-10 Patriots. Well, during the TV timeout, the Patriots showed their support for pediatric cancer, played the Photocopy-produced video Truly Brave, featuring Cyndi Lauper and Sarah Bareilles. And there was Devin Still, talked about his daughter and what she's gone through. And then the Patriot cheerleaders were all wearing the jersey of Bengals defensive tackle Still, his 4-year-old daughter Leah, battling cancer. And of course it was a great moment here, and the crowd is still saluting Devin Still. Robert Kraft donating $25,000 to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital.
Pure, unadulterated class on the part of the New England Patriots. Robert Kraft.
Beautiful moment here at Gillette Stadium as the kickoff is fielded 6 yards in by Tate, who just gave up the last one. This time he holds on and to the 18. Let's go to Michelle.
Al, I spoke with Devin Still in August when his daughter was awaiting surgery to remove her tumor. He was devastated and anxious. I spoke with him again on Thursday, and he is in a much better place. He told me they successfully removed the entire tumor, and his daughter has a legitimate shot at being cancer-free. Still a few hurdles, Al, but Devin is much more hopeful now.
Well, everybody's saying a prayer for the daughter of that man. Bengals now from the 18-yard line as Dalton throws, and the pass intended for Sanu is incomplete. Well, for Andy Dalton, I mean, for the Bengals, really, it's, you know, it's January. That's what it's going to be about.
You know, they've been terrific during the regular season, but we've seen it before when we've gotten them in prime time. They have not played particularly well on Sunday night. They have not played particularly well in the playoffs. They always want that kind of respect, but in order to get it, you have to come into places like this and earn it.
2nd down and 10 for Dalton. And a little pass goes to Bernard. Well, you know, one thing we've seen Bill Belichick through the years, I mean, he's a doctor, he's a surgeon. He goes into the lab. He knew he had to fix a whole bunch of stuff this week in 6 days, and he did it.
Yeah, he did, but they also understood, because of that late move with Logan Mankins, that this offensive line was going to take a little experimentation. And it has taken a month for them to figure it out. But believe me, with how they played here tonight, they have it figured out now.
Yep. And Gronkowski is healthier. He's had a huge night. They've run the ball extremely well. Protection's been good for Brady. 3rd and 3. Pass is incomplete. Flag comes in as Gresham and Chung and the ball all got there together.
You take away a couple of these penalties, and it's utter domination.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
12th penalty against New England.
Here's what the Patriots do. They're going to get up, jam you, hold on, little jersey grab. That's a really tough play on defensive backs, because if they're jamming and the ball's thrown right away, you're used to having that time to jam the receiver and you get pass interference.
And now Dalton going deep, and that is hauled in by A.J. Green, who had to buy some separation from Revis. Makes the grab, big gain here, and a first down after a gain of 34.
Fake like it's going to be one of those quick screens, and then you're going to see Green just constantly hand fighting there, but he left his quarterback some field on the outside that time to throw it in over the top.
Under 5 to go in the 3rd. Pass underneath is taken by Bernard, and he gets swallowed up by Jamie Collins.
I tell you, this Jamie Collins can fly now. He's one of the great athletes that we've seen. He runs a 4.6 and sort of set the world record at the combine. 11.7 on the broad jump there. One of the more explosive players you're seeing. He's had a little leg problem, but so far tonight done a pretty nice job in there covering up these tight ends and backs.
And 2nd and 7. That's grabbed by Jeremy Hill. And the rookie running back takes the ball to the 18-yard line as Cincinnati goes no huddle.
Well, they're working against Ninkovich here, but we've got a developing story as Darrelle Revis is down on the ground. He was the one that came up and tried to make the hit on Jeremy Hill, and he hasn't gotten up yet.
Injury timeout. 3:59 left in the 3rd. Revis was down for about a minute, but walks over to the sideline. Logan Ryan takes his place, and working in that direction is Dalton to A.J. Green for the touchdown. So with Revis out and Revis going back to the locker room, Ryan comes in and he goes right to work, does Dalton on his replacement.
Ryan's basically going to get pecked by Mayo on the route. Let's see if he hangs on to this ball. A little movement there. It's going to be tough to call that one. He does have control in the other hand at that point. That's an interesting call.
Yeah, it is. It's also a scoring play, so obviously it gets reviewed in New York.
You know what's interesting about that is he had control, but as he was going to the ground, the ball shifted from out of one hand into control on the other hand. I don't know if I've ever really seen a play like this. So now
it's moving, but he really never loses control of the ball.
He's got it pinned. But on the changeover there, did he land out of bounds? Well, you think you've seen everything,
yeah.
And then every game you see something, you go, what? Not quite sure. Wasn't like it ever came out of control, but in that transition from one hand to the other is sort of as he was going out of bounds. Didn't take long. As soon as Revis went out of the game, they go right after Logan Ryan with their best receiver. Mayo kind of gets in his way. Great read by Andy Dalton. perfect back shoulder throw. It looks perfectly clean, but the other shots we can definitely see, he wasn't going anywhere else, was he? As soon as he saw that matchup on Ryan.
You saw Revis out of the game. You got Ryan in the game. I don't see anything that overturns this right now.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
That was Revis. That was Revis getting hurt. You know, it's so funny. And here he is leaving, and he watches what has taken place. I'm sure there were some people who thought, you know, maybe Revis went down to stop Cincinnati's momentum on that drive.
Yeah, but then you come back in immediately. You don't go
exactly
to the locker room.
I mean, who would have thought that in the first place, right? Nugent for the point after to make it 34-17.
Well, Bengals hanging in there. They really moved the football tonight, you know. I mean, it hasn't been that they haven't been able to move it, but a little more interesting matchup. Now totally dependent, though, on this defense to create a play. That kickoff return fumble is looming large right now.
And right now, New England is minus Revis. They're minus McCourty, who hasn't played since midway through the second quarter. So you've got one of your starting safeties and your shutdown corner. Who knows?
So far tonight, though, the Bengals have given up more points in this game than they've given up in their first three. Of course, not all those belong to the defense.
Yeah, 33 points yielded through the 3 victories, 34 on the board tonight, 34-17 with 3:43 left in the third quarter. And this is Nugent with a touchback.
Anytime you're down in the red zone, the timing has to be perfect. Watch Andy Dalton release this football well before A.J. Green even thinks about making the cut. There it is, ball's out. Ryan's trying to catch up to it, unable to. It's really a clever throw on the part of Dalton there to throw that back shoulder and away from the defender, because he knew they were both sprinting towards the corner. Threw it away from the corner.
All right, so let's see what the Cincinnati defense can do in terms of getting the ball right back. Brady, meanwhile, throws and starts this drive with a first down to Julian Edelman, who's been fairly silent tonight. All the heavy lifting has been done by the tight ends Gronkowski and Wright.
Yeah, but all the heavy lifting prior to that had been done on the outside by Julian Edelman. So now, once you hammer away on the inside with those big tight ends, everything starts to open. 3
catches for 20 yards for Edelman. And it's a short gain here for Ridley.
You know, one of the interesting things about Julian Edelman is, you know, he was a quarterback in college and really had no idea what he's doing. It never returned a punt before he got here, would stay after practice. They say he shows up at 6 a.m. around here, catches balls off the jugs machine, non-stop practice, relentless effort, the same sort of thing you used to see out of Wes Welker, and he has just picked up right where Wes Welker left off. A guy that gives you every single thing he has on every play.
Edelman in motion. Brady to Edelman, and Edelman knows exactly where he has to go for the first down and gets it.
You know, a little powerhouse too. He's not one of those guys that you come up and he runs out of bounds. Looked like the Bengals that time may have thought that Edelman was just going to ease his way out of bounds, and Pac-Man ends up taking a shot.
From the 46, Ridley try to cut it back. Carlos Dunlap is right there. Loss of 1.
Michael Obanau-Inui there saw some of the quickness of Carlos Dunlap. He came out to block him, and there just wasn't anybody there. Right over here is the matchup. Watch this quickness. That's what Dunlap has the ability to do really on every play. And we saw him a week ago, or 2 weeks ago actually, in their game, do some pretty remarkable things, running down Jake Locker, who's a fast quarterback from all the way across the field, not once but a couple of times.
2nd and 11, and cutting it to the outside with some room, and off to the races again goes Stephen Ridley, taken down at about the 12. That's a gain of 43 yards for Ridley.
All right, we've talked about him as a receiver. Now watch Tim Wright here. See if he gets away with a little hold on the tail end of this thing. You can see Leon Hall sort of get pulled in, but if that grab takes place inside the jersey, usually you can get away with it. What a nice run. Big back, Stephen Ridley, 220 pounds, and just completely shook the corner on that one.
94 yards on 19 carries for him. Now Brandon Bolden comes in at running back. He gets the ball and backs his way to the 9-yard line on a night when New England has 435 total yards and 191 on the ground.
You know, sometimes it's like a volcano, isn't it? You could almost feel it building within this organization. Every press conference, every time they had to deal with the media, they were biting their tongue. They were short, clipped answers. And then they came out and exploded here tonight.
2nd and 7 from the 9. Edelman. And he'll get taken down at the 7-yard line, and that will take us into the 4th quarter. 3 in the books in Foxborough. New England 34, Cincinnati 17. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Start the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 3 from New England at the 5-yard line. Inside fake, and the ball is dropped. Brandon LaFell, good coverage in the end zone. 4th down, and Gostowski and his friends will come out.
Good play here by Adam Jones. Anticipates the slant, kind of gets his hand in there. But watch what they're doing up front. Look at the double team push. They're treating some of these play action passes like they're run plays. They're coming off the ball. They're driving in there, and consequently the defensive linebackers can't get a feel for run pass because they're coming off the ball making it look like a run.
23-yard chip shot for Gostowski. And he's now made 3 tonight, and it's a 20-point lead for the Pats. Down in the end zone there with 6 seconds gone in the 4th quarter. Andy Dalton and the Bengals at the 20 when we come back. Like father, like son, Marvin Lewis, 12th year at the helm in Cincinnati, and there's his son Marcus, defensive assistant. Bill Belichick's son Steve, also a defensive assistant. Both looking down from the coach's box. 1st and 10 for Cincinnati now from the 20-yard line. And Giovanni Bernard goes next to nowhere.
I'll tell you, one of the things, when you think you can cover man-to-man on the outside, you can get a little cocky with some of your defensive schemes. That time they walked up almost everybody at the line of scrimmage thinking the Bengals were going to come out run, and there's simply nowhere to go. But you feel good outside, everything else starts to fall into place.
So Revis, after going in for repairs, he is back and matched up with Jones, and the pass comes to the near side, and that's taken by Green, and Revis is right there to force him out of bounds just at about the 1st down marker. It is 1st down at the 30.
It's kind of interesting. That ball came out, and for a second, nobody knew whether to jump on it or not. I do think he stepped out of bounds just before it happened, though.
Dalton 13 of 21 now for 187. Under pressure, buys time. Heads to the sideline, and nice gain. Here's Michelle.
Well, Darrelle Revis, we all saw him go back to the locker room, Al, and I was told he was questionable with a hamstring injury, so it was a little bit of a surprise to see him come out here, but here he is.
Yep. Well, you know, when you deal with we dealt with the Patriots for a bunch of years, you never know.
No comment. Here we go. Let's see if we can detect anything.
From the 42 to the 46 goes Bernard.
I'll tell you what, this Jamie Collins is one quick son of a gun inside. They look like they had him wired to make a block, and they just can't get their hands on him. Jamie Collins, Chandler Jones, they have some real outstanding athletes, very difficult guys to block defensively.
2nd down and 6. And Dalton over the middle, and that's dropped. Sanu was there, couldn't hang on, angry with himself. Says that's on me, and it's 3rd down and 6.
If they've had success anywhere in this ball game, it's been working on Dennard a little bit. Just because it doesn't work once and you drop it, why not? The other place I thought that they would work a little bit more tonight, Giovanni Bernard is an excellent receiving back, and even though Jamie Collins is a good athlete, you don't want to give up on that matchup either.
And Bernard's only caught 2 tonight for 10 yards. And Dalton's going to get smothered at the 35-yard line. Chris Jones comes blasting through to take him down.
Chris Jones, who really had a big role to play last season, filling in for Vince Wilfork, ended up with 6 sacks on the season last year, 2nd among all rookies. Comes up with another big one there.
First time that Dalton has been sacked this season. Huber's punt caught at 22, and Edelman out to the 28-yard line. And Brady in the group. Back to work, up 37-17 at Foxborough. Here goes Vereen. That's a gain of 13 yards. The Boston Bruins will open it up, playing Philadelphia, and then the Kings, our Cups runneth over, by the way, against the Sharks on Wednesday night on NBCSN.
And now you are a part owner of that team now. All the season tickets you bought, how long have you been a season ticket holder?
23 years.
So this is no little Johnny come lately thing
no,
for you.
Not at all. But you know, these days in sports, you win 2 out of 3. That's a dynasty. From the 42-yard line, Stephen Ridley chugging his way out to the 50. My favorite thing, though, is I've turned you into a gigantic hockey fan. I love that.
I just want to know.
There's Aiden and Caitlin and Nate and Emily.
They're looking for their names on there. It's been to your house so
right,
many times.
Right. Well, the Kings will have their names once again engraved on it. They have 3 guys who traveled around the world with that cup. You think that thing's been a few places?
Could tell a few stories, couldn't it?
It sure could. 2nd and 3 from the 49. And through the middle goes Ridley. Among the things that have happened tonight, from late tuners in, Tom Brady, big milestone. 50,000 career passing yards, and that one to Gronkowski, puts him on a list with those guys, and you know, clearly 5 years after he retires, he'll be making a speech in Canton, Ohio. 3rd and 2 from the 49-yard line. And Vereen to the 43.
I'll tell you what I like seeing out of the New England Patriots tonight is that they've gone back to old school, old power football. This is the oldest play in the book right here. Conley's going to come around, they block down, He gets the linebacker. Shane Vereen's had a big night tonight, as has Stephen Ridley. Let's throw Brandon Bolden, the other running back, in there. He's the one that forced the fumble.
Ridley 101 yards, Vereen 90 yards, Gronkowski 100 receiving yards. Brady 269 through the air, and the Patriots have gained 472 yards tonight. And boy, Cincinnati needs that fella back pretty soon.
Vontaze Burfict, no question. He is the leader of that defense and the emotional leader, and they needed some of that tonight.
And Brady incomplete. Crowd wants a flag, and they do get one at the 20-yard line.
You know, as soon as they put that...
While the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact, defense, number 23, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the venerable Terrence Newman in his 12th year.
As soon as they put that 5-yard illegal contact rule in, I said we are going to get nothing but double moves in this league, because defensive backs for years have made up for that double move by coming up and hitting you once you turn it up. But now you can't do that, and a lot of the fouls that we've seen called tonight, exactly that. And the crowd here, as soon as it was illegal contact on the Bengals, in their opinion, with the old Bronx cheer.
From the 35 on first down. Nice hole there for Ridley to the 31-yard line.
But anytime you watch the Patriots over the years, it is the balance that always impresses you. The number of ways that Josh McDaniels' team can beat you. And tonight, for the first time all year, we've seen the two tight ends and going up the seam. We've seen the power running football. We've seen plays on the outside. Tom Brady looking so sharp, in this offensive line nearly perfect this evening.
Toss to Ridley. The 29. How much better do things look if you're a Patriot fan right now? Okay, they were nervous coming in tonight. Dominant performance. They go to Buffalo next week, and then they have 3 home games in a row. Jets, Bears, and Denver.
I've always thought one of the things that was so underrated was the difference that coaching can make over the course of a season. In other words, talent sort of wins out early in the year, but once you get 16 weeks of regular season football, 17 weeks to coach these guys, the great coaches can move the needle.
3rd and 4. And that's a little low for Gronkowski, so it's 4th down. Meanwhile, you look at Cincinnati's schedule. They've got Carolina in Cincinnati next week. Then they go to Indy. Then they're going to get 3 home games in a row. Baltimore, Jacksonville, and Cleveland.
So basically, Cincinnati won't get on an airplane for 5 weeks, right? I mean, it is 4 home games and a trip to Indy. Not all bad.
We'd like that schedule.
You would?
Well, you would.
You never want to come to Cincinnati.
47-yard field goal attempt. I mean, just not getting on an airplane for 5 weeks. And the kick is good. So 7:53 remaining in the 4th quarter. And it's 40-17. Well, Dalton ready to go back to work, but it's 40-17. Patriots. They got started early tonight. Great first drive, led 14-0, and have not looked back. Fielded at the 5. Brandon Tate can only bring it to the 15-yard line. 7:48 left in Foxborough. Most wins by a head coach, regular season, NFL history. There's Bill Belichick with 201 in 5th place. You know, you look at those other 4 guys, Shula, Hallis, Landry, and Lambeau. What's even more impressive is that at least part of their coaching careers were in 12-game seasons, and in 14 as well, not in 16. As Gresham picks up the first down out to the 29-yard line. Now or never.
It was
It's now or never.
It was now.
Yep.
I mean, but you don't win 10 games or more. What was it, 11 straight years, something, whatever it's been with Brady and Belichick together, and not expect it to happen again. It's not the first time they've had difficulties early, but when they get it going, it's hard to stop them.
It's caught by Sanzenbacher, and he loses it, and is it recovered? Before it goes out of bounds. Zeron Harmon is able to collect it, stay in bounds before he steps out, and a turnover.
Kyle Arrington's had a nice night tonight as well. Going to go out here, and then Arrington is just going to reach around and punch it out from behind. Watch him here. There it goes. That stuff doesn't happen by accident. They do drills almost every day just like this. Better be secure with the ball. They're going to find a way to get it out. And turnovers tonight for the Bengals that they have not experienced this year.
Good work by Harmon, too, playing the role of receiver to stay in bounds before he steps out.
Well, there aren't many nights that you say, really, Andy Dalton's had a pretty good game and the Cincinnati Bengals get blown out. It is amazing, though. I wish I had a better explanation for why it happens to this team. As good as they can be, primetime games and playoff games, you just don't see their best effort.
Come on, you get the big bucks, you got to have a better explanation.
Mike Brown's probably wondering the same thing right there.
At the 49-yard line. Brady can do some clock work here. With a little over 7 minutes to play. But instead, he's going to throw it. At least it's a short pass underneath. Aaron Dobson to the 33-yard line. Another guy who has been in the news lately. He was inactive the last 2 weeks. A story came out that he'd had a confrontation with Josh McDaniels, and the Patriots very uncharacteristically went ahead and released a statement from Belichick saying false, didn't happen.
Well, Josh McDaniels said he got a call from his wife and said, what happened between you and Aaron Dobson? He said, what are you talking about? He said, there's all kinds of stories going around the whole city here that you guys had a big blow up and that's why he's not playing. He said, what? And so they started following up on it and nobody knew what they were talking about.
It's a world of chatter. That's what we do for a living. Devlin takes it up the middle for a gain of 4 yards.
That's a fullback right there.
One way to staunch a cut.
I'll tell you, these two guards have had a nice game here tonight, along with Stork inside, just getting the push right up the middle. And one of the things that you like is when a team is beaten down the way that they were last week against Kansas City, what do? You come back, you bring your tight ends in, you bring your old guards back, and just go forward. Just fight them. Work tonight.
Ridley. Five and a half to go.
You know, for the Cincinnati Bengals, they have a lot of guys that aren't healthy and star players. We've talked about Burfict tonight. Marvin Jones, guy had 10 touchdown receptions for him a year ago. Tyler Eifert, their #1 draft pick. Kevin Zeitler, #1 draft pick at guard. So this team's going to get better. They should get all those guys back.
Just have to play at 1 o'clock.
Not a Sunday night football. I know that. It's been tough.
Brady on a 3rd and 5, and they will convert it. Juggling catch made there by Vereen to move the chains. Well, one thing about Cincinnati, Chris, is they're a young team, one of the youngest in the league, and they've got a large amount of experience for as youthful as they are.
Yeah, Marvin Lewis has built this thing the right way. There's no question. Not only young, but young with experience. And they're going to learn from this. I'm not sure anybody was going to come in here tonight and beat the Patriots.
To the 20. Bengals youth, you take a look at that, the guys and how old they are, and all those guys 26 and younger. And same thing there on the other side of the ball. And 11 regular starters, 26 or younger, with 3 or more seasons with the team, and that would be second most in the NFL, second only to the champion Seahawks. 3rd and 9. And play fake pass is incomplete. Of course, I agree with you. I'm thinking about this game all week going, there is no way New England can throw in a stinker again like that.
Well, as long as they got the issues solved with the offensive line, and they tried to go young. They tried to put Cameron Fleming in, who was a rookie, and Brian Stork in a tough environment in Kansas City. They were still moving around and trying to figure out what was going to happen. They had Marcus Cannon, a tackle, playing guard for much of the early part of the season. Dan Connolly, the guard, was playing center, and they just kept flipping them around. Finally, they just went back to old school, and it's working.
The right formula. I know you ran into some people. I did too. Hotel on the street. Oh, you know. And I said, hey, look. In the word of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
Yeah. It's, you know, when something's been this good this long, if you want to pick one of the other teams in this division, do so at your own risk.
It was hard for Brady, though, to say that. I mean, Aaron Rodgers knew what he had. He's done it before. I mean, Aaron, we've seen him, you know, he's always saying the sky's falling outside, inside, we're fine. He knew what he had. But with Brady, you know, you began to wonder a little bit after last week exactly what he thought he had.
I mean, basically, Brady was answering questions. Is he too old and too washed up, and is he done? And you can kind of see his face. He's like, what? Excuse me?
35-yard field goal is good. Here's what Rivas said Belichick told the team this week.
Stick together, stay together. Basically saying this is all we got. I mean, we need to stick together and become a closer team. And that's basically the message that he's given us. I think the guys been responding well of just being great teammates and sticking together. And like I said, it's a long season, and we'll turn this around. We definitely will.
It was interesting in our conversation with Rivas. You know, he said, you never know what's going on here. You know, he's been outside like all of us looking in and always wondered what it was like with Belichick. And he said he really lets the guys be their own personality. It's not like you go to practice, it's not fun. Guys are messing around just like they are on any other team. But he said the locker room is very close. It's like a brotherhood. He said after I was here for a while, it dawned on me. He said this is why these guys win. He said they don't let the outside stuff beat them down. They take care of it from the inside out.
Well, Belichick's been to a few rodeos.
Let it play out. We're anymore with the way preseason's played. September's almost preseason now.
Touchback. Jason Campbell now will finish up for Cincinnati, the 10-year veteran, one time the #1 quarterback in Washington. And Jeremy Hill will make Mr. Campbell's stats look pretty good here with a gain of 38 yards to the 42-yard line.
What did Brady tell us the other day? He said, yards after the catch, what's better than that? This is going to look like he threw a bomb on first down. Little screen pass that fooled everybody. Sometimes defensive players at this point in the game start thinking about their own stats, and they were coming after a sack on that one.
Jason Campbell, 1 for 1 for 38 yards.
There you go.
Phenomenal night. 2 for 2 for about 40. Our gang up here in the booth, Malibu, Kelly Hayes. Happy birthday to George Hill, Andy Freeland. Boys, welcome to October. 5th week of the season, and there are no undefeated teams in the National Football League as we come to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes before the Patriots go to 3-2 on top 43-17. As we approach midnight, 20 minutes from midnight, I saw Paul Revere outside the stadium.
One if by land, two if by sea.
Let's see if you're still paying attention.
I was. Just want to make sure I didn't mess that up. I didn't want to hit Twitter hard tonight.
No, we're not trending. Marvin Lewis. Watch this team come in 3-0 off a bye week. But it's been all New England tonight.
And sometimes off those byes, teams aren't sharp, and that first quarter really kind of ended this thing.
And Campbell on a 2nd and 7. Makes the pass to Sanu.
I like this Mohamed Sanu. He goes around schools in Cincinnati and does a speech, and kind of the basis of it is no excuses. No excuses. Nobody can tell me you had it tougher than I did. And he had some inspiration early in his life, and he tries to provide it for young people in Cincinnati. He does a great job.
3rd year with the Bengals out of Rutgers. And that's dropped. Dropped by Jeremy Hill with 1.5 minutes to go. It'll be 4th down.
Well, this is one of those games you look at the schedule, you go at New England, yeah, that's probably a loss, so I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of it exactly what it looked like. But for the Bengals, maybe they'll do what the Patriots did tonight, which is take a severe whipping and turn it into some emotion and come out ready to play next week.
We'll get Carolina next week in Cincinnati. Good comeback for the Panthers today, and that pass is taken in but out of bounds. He was on the chalk, incomplete, and New England will run the clock out. So the updated standings now in the AFC East. Buffalo wins today. They won in overtime in Detroit. New England is now 3-2. Miami had the week off after they played in London last week, and the Jets lose at San Diego to go 1-4. You go since 2001. That's when Brady took over here for Bledsoe. New England more than 3 times the wins as opposed to losses, and none of the other teams even at 500.
You know, you can really go back to '94, and when Robert Kraft took over this team, they lead the NFL in wins, playoff wins, division, conference, and Super Bowl titles. That's kind of the whole thing. That's about all you're playing for.
Right, there's Brady on the bench. Garoppolo actually took that last snap.
Oh, there'll be a big controversy now.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah.
Told you he should have played.
He gets a lot of snaps in practice. We were out there on Friday, and I was surprised. I was almost going, is there something to this? Is he really going to get some chance to play? But I guess over the last 3 or 4 years, New England, unlike a lot of teams, they give Garoppolo 2 or 3 snaps. You'll see Brady in there sometimes with the scout team making plays to throw to some of those receivers, and they want to make sure Jimmy Garoppolo is ready if and when he's needed.
I'll tell you, they've had a lot of satisfying victories in New England over the years, but I mean, for Bill Belichick and Brady, this is going to rank right up near the top in terms of satisfaction, considering everything that went on here this week. Yep.
They probably won't do I told you so's in the press conference.
Nope.
But they'll be thinking it.
No. Belichick will go, we're on to Buffalo. We're thinking about Buffalo. There's no past. There's no future. It's just Buffalo. 43-17 is the final score. It's all New England all night long.